How's it going? I'm Danny Weiser.
Hi, my name is Danny Weiser.
And I am not Danny Weiser.
Hey, my name is Danny Weiser.
And my name is Right Thru, and this is Bizzaro.
Love it. Reformat the card. Hey, my name is Danny Weiser.
And I am Bizzaro, and this
is Right Thru.
That's very good. I like that. That was nice. We didn't even plan that
I
at
can
all.
read. I read.
So Right Thru is, as I'm sure you've already figured out, is a pen through anything, as the original trick was called, but the history is, it starts with you.
Yeah, so Bizzaro and I have a long-standing relationship of me throwing ideas at him and him telling me no.
It's very true.
But more or less, we do collaborate on a lot of different things and have done so over the past
I've made prototypes for a handful of things that you've released over the years.
Hybrid.
Oh yeah. With the eraser thing.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
that thing. That was. I don't know what this movement means, but it's eraser in sign language. And he hit me up and said, "I want to do a thing through Bill." Originally, it was a chapstick, if I remember right.
Yeah,
it was a chapstick, and he was like, Could we do the penetration, then have you twist it and have the chapstick go through while it's penetrated?" And I went, yes.
Give me like 6 weeks and we'll try.
Yeah, right. And I figured it out, and then we were like, you know what? This really needs to be built into a pen. This is something that I think other people will really
go back to its roots.
Right, exactly.
Of the premise.
So we worked out a couple prototypes, and then we sent it to these suckers who were very kind enough to put it out, and
Yes.
that's where we're at now.
Yeah, it was a long time coming for sure. I mean, COVID definitely didn't help with production
Or anything else. We don't talk about COVID.
Fine. The big C.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we call it Bruno. We don't talk about.
That's fine. I hope these people get Disney references. But it was a long time coming. Many prototypes, production samples. We're really proud of what it's come to be and the package that we've finally put together for it. And
as far as I know, it's as I like to say, until further notice, it's a method that has not been done before. That should be fairly unique and help elevate the effect a little bit in your spectators' minds.
Yeah, it's a truly good enhancer
I hope so.
Yeah. If you have a pen through pill dysfunction, you can enhance it with Right Thru.
I don't know what that means.
Erectile dysfunction,
No, I know. I was just trying to be silly. I got it. So a little history on kind of pen through Bill. I wanted to run through from where we kind of started to where we are now in the magic world. And the farthest back that I can kind of find is Tenyo's Wandering Hole. And that was an effect where you took a pen and it went through a hole in a piece of plastic, and then you moved the pen across this piece of plastic. The hole was gone, and you pulled the pen back out, and the hole was over here. And that was kind of the precursor, to a degree, to John Cornelius's Pen Through Anything. And he was the one who kicked off the entire craze of pen through stuff. And then for his creative genius and troubles, he got ripped off left, right, and center, but he kept innovating and doing stuff. But his original one was called Pen Through Anything, and it was kind of a cross-style pen. And then he moved to more of a black, kind of Mont Blanc-style thick pen. And a few companies came out with different variations of it. Magic Max Penguin came out with something called the Laser Pen. And Magic Max, for the older folks, it was originally known as Old Town Magic out of Florida, Kissimmee, Florida. And then Ronjo came up with a improvement to the pen that was called the Convincer. I don't know why I did this, because that's what it said. But what would happen is it had a mechanism that made it look like you could push and pull the pen through the hole back and forth, which actually looked really cool.
A nice enhancement.
Right, exactly. And then, and now this is all very pre-internet, pre-YouTube, all that stuff. And I know some of you are like, wait, is this when the dinosaurs roamed the earth? No. In 1997, I got this. This is, I think, the first time somebody had built one into a Sharpie marker, and this was called the Sharpie We Use, a guy named Pete Petticord. And this is my original from '97, and it is.
Look at the rust on that.
I know it is. I mean, this has been my go-to forever. and I just wanted to kind of show it off. But and we'll come back to that. There's more to this, but we'll talk about it later. And then after that, John Cornelius said, hey, how do we make a pen that doesn't need to be switched out? So he came out with the perfect pen, and it was a metal style pen that had a mechanism that allowed you to use the same pen without a switch. And it was really good. A lot of people liked it. And then, of course, more knockoffs came and everything like that. And then some people started taking the concept and running with it a different direction. Doug Edwards came out with Wonder Penetration, and that's probably one a lot of people are more familiar with nowadays. And it has I'm not going to talk too much about it, but it enables you to not switch out the pen. Now the big difference between his and the other ones is you can only put a little bit of the pen, just the tip, through a bill. What are you laughing at? Just a little bit through the pen, whereas some pens have a lot more, payload, as some people say. And then there's been a lot of other stuff in between. I want to give some honorable mentions out there to some other products that are similar to Pen Through Anything or Bill, but they're not pens. Nicholas Lawrence had Smooth that came out. Timothy Wenk had Misled that was popularized by David Copperfield, used a pencil. A ton of people made versions of Cigarette Through coin, card. There was a Cigarette Through Bill that worked the same way. It was magnetic. Toothpick Through Bill. Somebody found a way to put a tiny, tiny magnet in a toothpick. Like, there have been so many people who are like, let's just put everything through everything, right? Yeah. And of course, the original Cigarette Through Coin, which had there was a couple of versions, sleight of hand version that just had a hole drilled through it. Those are the cheap ones. But then there were gimmicked ones with trap doors, and they look amazing. Yeah. Those were great. And then you have things kind of like Kayla Morelli's Quantum, which actually brings us full circle all the way back to Tenyo's Traveling Hole, because the way that works is you put it in one spot and it moves and comes out of another spot. Right. So John Cornelius kicked off something that he never, I think, imagined that would go this far, and now we have hopefully our amazing innovation for it to give it another beat, yeah. I guess you should say. So having said all that, we'll show you what's in the box and show you how it all works.
Great. We'll do that again from the side. Let's take a look at what's in the box. So, son of a.
Give me this. It's childproof.
Yeah, it is childproof.
Which means no magician will ever be able to get this thing open. 3 hours later.
Just speed up this part of the video.
Yeah, let's do a time lapse.
3 hours later.
All right, so inside the box here, you will notice you have 2 pens, and here one of them is broken. No, I'm kidding. That is the gimmicked one right there. If you don't know why this does this, then why are you here? Like, this is you should know what Pen Through Bill is. It also is a real pen. This one has a little fingernail polish on it right there. That just comes off. There you go, like that.
It's like a pen condom.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good word for the 14-year-olds to learn. And this is an extra tip, and we'll actually explain why this is here for the handling later. But just for completion's sake, I will show you that this enables you to swap out the tips on the fly and hand out the pen and not have to do a switch for it. There are a few different handlings for this that we have come up with for you with this, but these are your 3 main components. So we've showed you what's in the box, and now we're going to kind of walk you through some care and feeding before you start doing the trick and before you hurt yourself.
First, tell it that you love it.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, ask for permission to do the trick. Do I have your consent to perform Pen Through Bill? Anyway, so as I said, you have this one here. You have the gimmicked tip, and you have the gimmicked body like this that go together. But you also have this part here that screws on like this, and this comes on and off very easily like this. So don't try to force it, and don't screw it on too tightly, or you might snap it. It is plastic, and the way this works is the way the tip comes out is by a little needle like this. As you can see here, that is what pushes the internal mechanism out like that. And that's what penetrates the bill or the shirt or the piece of paper or whatever.
So something is really penetrating the bill.
Yes.
And that's the needle.
Exactly. So be very careful that you don't accidentally stab yourself with this, because this is not a toy. It's a toy, but it's not a toy.
Hope you have your tetanus shots.
That's right, exactly. And if you're a spy, you just tip this in some poison and walk up and go right into somebody, and you're good. Anyway.
Little James Bond.
Exactly. And this is just a regular pen. This one, there's nothing dangerous about this, except it is mightier than the sword.
Right. So don't get mixed up with them because they are identical.
Yes, that's very much so, yes. The way you can tell is this one does this. So, and as I said, this one here is like this, so you can hand this out, have it be done. And again, there's a reason for this, and we'll go over this. This is kind of an advanced handling we'll go over here in a little bit. So one thing that was important to us was being able to have both of these tips be able to write like this. This one can do it, oh, careful there, yeah, don't do that. And this one can do it like that. So that was very important to us.
We're gonna do a quick little stop here. I'm Danny Weiser from Murphy's. Okay, I'm Javier Fuenmayer from Murphy's Magic, and we wanted to let you know that the ink cartridges inside of your write-through gimmick are specially manufactured specifically for this gimmick. Now, because we know you're not going to be writing an essay or a full story with these pens, the ink is gonna last you a very long time. We just wanted to let you know so that you could be mindful of how much you use the ink in your gimmick. Remember, as long as you're just using it to sign the bill or whatever it is you're gonna use the pen to go through, it's going to last you a very long time. Now, let's get back to Javier and Bizzaro. I mean, Danny and Bizzaro.
Nice to meet you. How you doing? What's your name?
Danny.
I knew that. Danny, I would like you to let me borrow a dollar bill, if you have one, or any other denomination, Presbyterian, whatever, it's fine.
Will that do?
Yeah, yes, that will very much do. That looks exactly like the dollar I told you to give me.
Cool.
Good, perfect, okay. I would like you to draw a mustache on Barbara Bush. That's what it looks like. I don't know if people at home will get that joke or not, but just draw a little mustache there, so we'll mark it. We'll mark it so we'll recognize it. Yep, that's great. That's the nice pencil thin. Show that to the camera there. Good. All right. You know what? I think there's some accoutrement that's missing here. I'm gonna there you go. That little accoutrement there. That doesn't look like any other bill you've seen before, right? Yeah, this is different than the ones you normally carry around with you. Yeah. And we might be able. I think we might be able to mark it a little differently. Ready? Here we go. Right there. Yep. Just like that. Like that. That's a nose piercing right there. He's going right there. I don't know how. Hold on. I want to see something. Oh yeah, it still works. Look at that. It's like a cool fidget toy. Look at that. Here, cool. Here, push on that. Works.
Wow.
But you can't spend that in a vending machine. They won't accept that in the slightest, will they? No. Let me just pull that out, and then we can heal that up. There we go. I can't do anything about the disguise kit, but the hole is gone. So this is the basic pen through bill presentation. This isn't anything like overly complicated, nothing too crazy. And in this, I'll show you how I do it in situations like this. So I use the real pen. I start out with the real click pen here, and I hand it out and I say, draw something on there, draw a mustache, right? And I like doing something wacky because it's more memorable than just having them write their name on that, right? Because now it gives it character. And so if there's other people around, what I will do is I'll say, show that to them or show it to the camera, whatever. And while they're doing that, I'm already holding out my the gimmick pen here. This is in my hand. I've reached into my pocket at some point, and I'm just holding it, chilling it out here in my hand. Because when I ask them for the bill, I hand them the pen. There's no reason for this hand to be doing anything. So I take back the pen, and I kind of lean forward, and honestly, all I'm doing is I'm just ditching this in my pocket and I'm bringing this one forward. The switch is that easy. I'm just like, here, take the pen back, show it to them, ditch forward. It's the simplest switch you can do. We'll talk about more complicated switches later, but this is the one I do and it flies by everybody. And the nice thing about this being able to retract and also write is I can add extra stuff to this. As you saw, I drew the glasses on. I'm like, oh, let's give it something else. You could draw this here and do that. So now it feels like the same pen has been in use the whole time. Nothing has changed because you couldn't do this with a normal pen before. So Now it's your typical pen through bill. I come here and I hold the pen under here and I say, oh, we could add one more unique feature to this. And underneath, I'm just stealing this off like this underneath. Now I like this because this really hides the angles. If there's people on the sides, they can't really see it. If you feel that you can get it into this position, it's better, but the angle on this is not as good. So just be aware on your surroundings, depending how you want to do it. So now you just do you're hiding the tip here like this. There's nothing here, so you got to make sure you don't hold the pen like this. And then I come straight down, making that nice noise, and now I can show. So now I'll bring the bill up and I draw attention to this moment because I want the focus to be here, because anybody who thinks they know how this works or they've bought this at a magic shop, I want their brain to break a little bit, because I do this and now they go, wait a second. And I do this a couple times. And now the nice thing is I can let them do it. I say, oh, it's like a fidget toy. Go ahead, just push on that right there. They feel it. They feel the resistance. They feel it go through like that, comes back down. And now you do your removal, your basic removal here, which you can do it facing the audience. You can come down here like this. But what's happening is I'm gripping here on the edge and I'm just pulling and letting it slide off like that. And you can do it from down here like this, straight up, so it looks like it comes out from the back, or you can come here and do it from the front like this, either way.
End up right in front of you.
Right. Now, because of the way this works, as we showed you earlier, there's a little needle here. What that does is it leaves a teeny tiny little hole. So what I tend to do is after I do this, I come over and I massage the bill, right? Because dollar bills are not paper, they're actually fabric. They're like a linen. And so what's happening is you're kind of pushing the fibers out of the way. So what I do is I start pushing the fibers back together. You can close that hole up pretty well. So if anybody looks, they can't see it. So, and also that's why I also aim for the portrait here as well, because it's very busy and you can't see anything. Over here, you can, in the right light, you can kind of see something. I like to do it right in the center. So you can't really tell there was a hole there like
So
that.
like finding good ornate designs on the bill
Yes.
also helps hide that.
Absolutely, absolutely. On the back, I mean, it's free game pretty much anywhere on the back like that. One tip I would like to tell you: make sure that after the penetration like this, and you do this like this, make sure you retract the pen. This is very important, because if you don't do this, you're going to do that, and that's going to teach them how the trick works. So that's very important.
That's my life saving.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. So you can have somebody push on this, as I showed you before. Go ahead. Now, I like to have them only push the first time out. And the reason for that is, and we'll explain more about this later, if you push too hard when it's retracted, that can happen. And you do not want that to happen, but there is a use for it down the line. So when you have the spectator push on the bill, let me do that. When you have the spectator push on it, only have them do it to push the tip out, because once they feel that click, they stop. But they don't know how far to push when it's like this. So just be aware that that is a thing. You don't need to like give it a lot of force. Be just a little gentle push is all you need.
So Biz, you're familiar with the whole wormhole principle, right?
Right, like black holes.
Yeah, so a wormhole is actually two black holes connected by time and space. Okay. So on a dollar bill, they have two black holes. It's kind of like a security feature.
Okay, sure.
Right? So each bill has its own set of security features, and this one is quite unique. So we'll connect those two black holes to create our wormhole. So you see there, it's connected, two black holes.
Sure.
We'll go ahead and fold it, bringing those two black holes closer together to create our wormhole.
Okay.
And what's really, really cool about bringing two black holes together to create the wormhole is you can do some pretty funky stuff, right? Watch, like that. Isn't that neat? Mm-hmm. So you have your wormhole, and you can even do stuff like this.
Oh, okay. It allows things to pass through it.
Pass through, exactly. And then you can go ahead and pull it right off and leave your wormhole closed. There you go. Ta-da! Magic. So here's the explanation of the wormhole plot. So all you need is the gimmicked pen, the magnetic component with it. Make sure that everything works well before you do perform it. So you can go ahead and borrow a dollar bill, or if you have a dollar bill that you'd like to use yourself, you'll explain to the
Obviously, it's stronger with somebody else's money because you can hand it back to them.
Totally.
Of course,
yeah,
yes.
absolutely. But for some reason they don't, you can always pull one out.
Yes.
So you'll go through the explanation of wormholes and black holes and how 2 black holes equal 1 wormhole.
And a lot of this stuff is actually true. Like, and they explain, anybody who's watched the Marvel film, that's how they explained how that stuff works. So this actually has a basis in some sort of reality that the spectator understands if they've seen those things.
Right, but they've also seen dollar bills and they know that there are seals on the bills too. So you could kind of bring that attention. You can joke around of like that they're a security feature. Yeah.
Right, which is great. It's a great kind of hook as well because people are like, oh, yeah.
Right, like, oh, is that what they're for?
Right.
You know? So that's kind of a neat premise to add to the routine. So what you'll do is you'll click your pen on. You can go ahead and draw your arrows or a straight line or
whatever, some design to connect the two.
Like a tangent, you know what I mean? You'll go ahead and fold the bills, bringing both black holes together to create your wormhole. So what you'll do is you'll exchange the pen to the same hand with the bill. You'll clip the tip behind and try to get it as perpendicular as you can to the bill, just like that. You'll hold the pen top in this type of position, so when your spectator is right in front of you, you're kind of blocking the fact that you stole the tip. Try to penetrate or make it meet the other magnet dead on if possible, which is usually going to be around where the seal is. Go ahead and do that right there.
It gives you that really great noise.
Yeah, really good audible feature proving that something has penetrated. Now, because you'll be going through 2 layers of bill, what you want to do is, as you kind of show that it's gone through, hold it with both hands. Right? You're holding both ends with both hands nice and tight. So when you click it, now it's actually penetrated, the needle has penetrated.
That display gives you a reason to show and hold it in place and stuff.
Yeah. And then you can let it retract. Just like that. Now, one of my favorite parts is the ending piece, because it's a really cool optical illusion that makes it look like you're actually pulling it back out through that wormhole. So what you'll do is you'll grab the end of the bill right over here, and you're going to pull it kind of off to the side, and then end with the pen right in front of you.
You're holding it right on the edge, so you have a lot of
wiggle, play.
Wiggle room, right,
yeah.
right.
Letting the bill come back, so this way the piece doesn't fall forward.
Right.
So you'll go ahead and pull it off the side and then back towards you.
And also keep it behind the bill, so it looks like it came off
straight
through.
Yeah.
Right.
Then you can go ahead and expose that it is now, the wormhole has closed. Here's another extra little tidbit that we were playing with if you would like to explore it. While you're performing and you're getting to this point where you're about to pull the pen out of the bill, you can go ahead and pull the front layer down like this to show, just this other element of magic that it's not damaged the bill in any way. And go ahead and click it as you will. And then you can go ahead and pull it out from the bill like that, resulting in an unharmed bill.
All right, Danny, so I know you're pensioned for shoplifting. I'm kidding. But you know when they have those tags on the shirts and stuff that make noise when you try to take them out of the store by accident? You ever wonder how they get those onto the shirts? You ever seen the mechanism? It's weird. I don't have one here to show you, obviously, so I'm just going to show you using this pen. I know that seems kind of weird, but hold out your shirt for me. Like, perfect. Okay, yeah. So we need to find a spot. Here, that feels like a good one right there, just to push that through. There we go, and that goes through the shirt. You can see the pen still works and everything. It goes right through there, just like that. But now you have to remove it at the checkout counter. So I'll just like that, and then I'll just rub right there on the shirt, and it's perfectly okay. And the shirt is fine. The pen is fine. Yeah.
It's awesome. The more you know.
So the way this works is just using the gimmick pen. No, you don't need to switch it out or anything like this. This is kind of one of those little quickie walk by kind of quickie things, I guess. So you're gonna have the person hold the shirt out like that. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna steal this off while they're doing that. So I have this here and I have this here. I'm just hiding the fact that the thing is missing. I'm gonna reach under, and as I reach under here, I'm gonna manipulate this into this position. So it looks like I'm not doing anything, right? So I go under like this, and I'm just kind of moving in that position while I'm feeling the shirt. So this is where we're at right now. And now I point, do the typical move, and I'm holding this just in case, but I shouldn't have to, but I'm holding it as I'm a little paranoid because you know, the fabric and stuff. But now I can do this, which is nice.
Sometimes the thicker the shirt, I feel.
Right, I would, yeah, it would be, if you don't know the exact material, I would just be a little paranoid about it. But so now I'm gonna reach back under, and I'm gonna grab it the same way that I did before between two fingers, like this, and I'm gonna reach down and pull, and I'm gonna start to rub again, but what I'm doing underneath the shirt, so without the shirt in the way, what I'm doing is I'm flipping this like this under the shirt. So I'm going from here back to here. So I'll show you kind of here, and I whoop. So now it's in a finger palm position. So I can come here, rub the shirt, and now I can finger palm that out. And if I want to, I can reconnect this quietly. You don't do it, don't be like that. Don't let that happen, that's bad. But I can come here, reconnect it, show the pen still works, put it away. And it's just kind of, it's one of those kind of drive-by magic things that you can just kind of do in passing for somebody to, like if you're in a store or something like that, you just want to touch a stranger's shirt or something like that.
It's like if you have a thumb tip and you want to do like a cigarette and shirt vanish.
Exactly. This is just a little quick bit of business.
Can you show once again, when you remove the pen, how you're kind of holding your hand in position to make it look like this area is filled in?
Are you talking about like this?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm just here like this. I'm just keeping this nice and, you know, I'm not death gripping it. It's not like this, obviously. I mean, because why would they think the end of the pen is missing? But yeah, so I'm just kind of here pointing like this, because now the attention is drawn away from the pen, and I'm here like this, and I'm kind of thumb clipping it. I'm kind of going from here to a flat hand like that. So then I can do I'm still gonna hold that just in case. So yeah, just like that. Same thing, and now I want all the attention here while I'm doing the rubbing like that. So
nice.
Yeah. Now for those of you who want to do a no switch version, that is why we have included an extra piece. All right, now this goes back to the thing I told you about earlier, the Sharpie We Use by Pete Petticord. He's given us permission to include this in the routine and use this idea. And as far as any of us know, this was his idea originally. This end screws onto the pen, right? There's threads. And so you screw that on, and what you enable this to do is hand this to somebody, and they can use the same pen, because it works. It is a functioning real pen at this point, so they can write on it, do whatever, right? They can draw on the thing, because that end also writes, and it functions the same way. So what happens is, in this hand, I have the magnetic piece that I've just stolen out of my pocket, and I'm just palming it here like this. And so you have them take the bill, show it around, and while you're doing that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen the cap. I'm going to come here, and I'm going to unscrew this. It takes like one full turn, like that. And once I've got it, I'm going to pinch this, like this. So there's a little bit of a gap there, but I'm holding this in this position. And so I'm going to take back the bill and get the tip underneath. So this is my setup now. And what this enables you to do is you see the pen, the tip of the pen, up into the point of penetration. So what's going to happen is I'm going to come up, and as I come down, I steal this off. This pops off into my hand as I come down, like this. And so now you've seen the pen tip the whole time. You can come here and do the click, and I can ditch this in my pocket if I want to. But I'm going to do that one more time for you kind of at speed so you can kind of see what's happening here. So I'm holding this like this. I've got the pen laying flat like this, and it comes down. So you see it the whole time.
That's great.
Yeah. And now you do all the same stuff, the same presentations. You come here, you do the click, it penetrates through. Nobody's looking at this hand. I just ditched it like that. And you can do everything that you could do before, peel the thing off. And at this point, they should not want to look at that pen because they held it, they understood that it was a real pen and things like that. And you can hand them back their bill. And if you really want, you can have the duplicate pen in your pocket if somebody says, let me see that pen. But this is, there's no reason for it. Most people at this point, because they've handled it as a real pen, they're not going to want to see this again because they knew it was a real object, a solid object. So, but you know, in case you wanted to do that, it's there.
Here's an extra little handling you can add to what you've already learned. So Bizzaro already taught you that you can take the screwing piece that very easily attaches, and if you cover this piece, as you do the penetration, you can steal it and have it palmed in your hand. So you're of course doing that because you have the magnetic piece on the other hand. Once it attaches, everything works exactly the same. You can transfer the pen to the other hand while you keep this one, even if you want to just show that the tip goes away. So in this version, you wouldn't be ditching this piece and then switching the entire pen. We're just going to reverse the process. So all you're going to do now is grab the pen again with the hand that has the piece palmed, and now you're just going to remove the bill. So after you unpenetrate the bill, because this is the magic portion, you can here rub it, they'll be able to see the tip here, and then it's healed. At this point, you now give them the pen to hold, and I've done the move here already. I already stole that piece. I'll show it to you one more time. So you just need to bring this pen behind the bill for a split second. So once it comes from behind the bill, you can then take it as you hand them that bill. Now from the front, once they take it, you'll see that that piece is going to be completely hidden. So as they're checking this out, you have all the time in the world to take this pen and put it inside. You don't actually have to screw it on, because if you do want to hand it out, as you do, if you just clip right here on the pinky, as you grab it, you twist that piece as you hand it over. So from the front, once this is, I'll show you, barely in, it's not all the way, okay? Now we're here. Now, as we hand it over, we're doing the little twist. Of course, you don't have to try to hide it or do it quick. Again, they've already checked the pen. They already signed the bill while it had this other piece. So there is really no heat, as Bizzaro mentions, on the pen whatsoever, which is why you can just switch it. But if you don't want to switch one pen for another, you can just do this one little thing. I will walk you through it very quickly one more time, just so you can get the hang of it. But you would start off with a piece that unscrews and screws on incredibly fast. This is the one they'll use to sign the bill. As they sign the bill, you're going to palm your magnetic extra little piece with the magnets closest to the tips of your fingers. That way, when you grab the bill back, oh, well, I have too many things in my hands right now, but once you take this back, you can unscrew it just ever so slightly as you then move on to do your move. That will penetrate it. Here you can show that it's going right through as you grab it again. Okay? If you don't want to point because you feel guilty, then I would just recommend dropping the hand completely, letting it bounce for just a second, show that it's there, and then grab it again. By grabbing it here, it makes the hand feel natural and like you couldn't be palming anything. Again, the spectators know that you can push a bill through a pen, so at this point, there is no magic yet. Magic has not happened. For them, the magic happens when you pull out the bill and the bill is restored. Because the magic just happened with the bill, they're going to want to check that bill out. So, if you want, you can hand them the bill and then just steal that piece and put it here. Or like we already talked about, which is the way I like to do, is bring the pen behind the bill. As you steal the piece, you have all the cover in the world, and then you hand them that. Now, because the moment they grab that, their attention is going to go here, they will not think or care about your hand, so don't feel guilty. There's nothing to feel guilty about. You just hand them the piece. They'll have it as you're handing them that. You're just locking that in. If you want, screw it. If not, just know that as you grab it, you can finish screwing it up. Then hand them the pen, and then you can ditch this piece. So that's one way in which you can do the whole entire penetration with just the single, let's say, main body with the quick screw on and the magnetic piece.
So this is a nice little addition for the no switch version with the tip here when you go through, and you can see the pieces here sticking through the bill like that. I don't know if you can get a good shot of that.
It enhances that moment.
Right, and this is an old school idea from a guy named Jim Krenz. I think he's credited with being one of the first ones to do this. But all you have to do is take this extra piece and just glue a bunch of little pieces of build to it. Like you can also do a flat piece and fold it around. I cut up and just glued a whole bunch, so I have very good adhesion with the magnet. This because of the penetration and stuff like that. So I just glued some pieces on like this. So once because now they'll see the normal piece, and when you steal it off and come through here, man, that just looks really convincing.
Really solid.
So then when you remove it, you're just gonna pull it off, and now you can drop this in your pocket and be done
You have
with
a
it.
double convincer because you also have to click.
Exactly. You have this going through in the click. This is something I would do on television. Like if I was really wanting to like hammer this home on a TV special or something, this is the version I do, so you could get right up on the camera and people watching at home would be like, I have no idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then melt their minds.
Thank you, Jim.
Yeah, thank you, Jim.
We have a bill right here and we have a pen. This is what's gonna happen. Don't take your eyes off of either of these or you'll miss the moment that pen goes straight through that bill. Check it out, look. You can also just pull it straight out and the bill rips out completely unharmed. Bizzaro mentioned that it was possible for you to do the penetration with the bottom part of the bill facing the spectators. That way, it would be something like this, and they would see the moment the pen goes through. So we wanted to show you a couple different ways in which you can accomplish that. So we're gonna go into those now, and then I'll show you one way in which turns it the other way around. If you want the most amount of cover, you're going to just place the bill underneath as you normally would in the routine, steal the pen while keeping all of the fingers in front of the bill, hiding the extra piece. Then you're just going to pretend to push it through and then you let that go and then they'll see the other part of the pen on the other side of the bill. If you want to turn it so that it looks a little bit more free, you can just use 2 fingers as cover. So you would still steal that piece with just 2 fingers at the same time you pivot the pen into the other hand so that you don't expose that it's empty. You then come over with a pen, you line up the magnets together, and once you know that they are connected, you can then do a quick motion down so that the pen goes all the way through. Now, if you're doing this for social media, you can take everything we just talked about with the 2 fingers and hiding it. You could just do that, but with a single finger. Everything would work exactly the same. You would just keep in mind your angles with the camera so that you don't accidentally expose the piece. All you have to really remember is to keep the flat part of your finger as a direct line to the camera. If you're performing this for social media, they won't be able to see that pen. Of course, if it's poking out through the top or the bottom, you want to also make sure that it's aligned with the back of your index finger. You then once again come from the back, you line up the magnets, and you let it push through. You can then click the pen if you want. Make sure you click it one more time before you pull the bill out. And the way I'm pulling the bill out is by sliding the bill sideways and then pushing away, making sure that I keep the pen in the same place in space. So if you don't pull towards yourself and then down, you may cause the tip of the pen to wobble a little bit as you do the penetration. If you notice that that is happening, just try pulling the bill towards yourself first and then pull the bill down. That's gonna help you with the wobbling of the tip of the pen. I've been playing with the gimmick a lot, and for some reason I thought of what if you could do it from the bottom up. So I gave it a shot, I tried it. I think it kind of worked, so I wanted to share it with you guys, and essentially all I'm doing is grabbing the bill in this way with the thumb almost touching the palm of my hand like you see here. That's so that when the part of the bill or the gimmick is hiding back there, you won't see it. Then as I'm showing that this is a bill, I'm purposefully holding it in that way. I then bring the tip of the gimmick behind the thumb as I steal it, hiding the fact that the tip has been stolen. Then flip the pen under the bill, trying not to show the fact that the tip is missing. And then I re-grip the bill from underneath exactly or as close as I can with the other hand as with the hand that's hiding the gimmick. Then connect the two And after they are connected, I pretend like I'm pushing that pen through. And if you get a nice bill sound, that's gonna be good. If not, it's okay. Now here, you can accidentally press the tip of the pen because you are trying to push it. You could make it seem like it was a mistake. So then you say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. And then you click it again. To do that, I'm just using the little pinky to push it open and close. That's it. Then from here, you can then pull the bill in whichever way you want. Another way in which you could load the tip behind your finger is by just displaying everything with the same hand. Then when you come to take the pen, you just take that piece as you do almost like a flip stick into that hand, or into behind the fingers, I should say. Now, if you have one finger on the top of the pen and your other finger on the tip of the pen, you can then, as you take it, if you do it at the same time, you should be able to hide the fact that you just stole the tip. Then you come over and then you have your penetration. I like to practice all of these moves together, one after the other, just so that I'm familiar with how the pen is and how the bill is in my hand. For instance, if the bill just happens to land like this, I can easily go into the one where we go through it like this. And I know I flashed, but you know what I mean. I really hope that you have liked and enjoyed these little ideas that I'm sharing with you, or at least that they have inspired you to come up with your very own. Thank you so much for your time. You may have seen Bizzaro in the trailer perform the write-through with the bill in the spectator's hands. You pretty much already know how to do this. We just want to share it with you with all the little details just so you can perform it as well. We're going to use Matt here. Can you come help us out? You can say hello if you want. Woo! So, all you really need to make sure is that when you have the pen penetrate the bill, don't have it near the middle of the bill, just make sure you penetrate it near the bottom of the bill, like this, okay? Then you're going to have your spectator hold the top of the bill as you see him there, and then you can tell them to hold on to it tight. This is very important because if they don't hold on to it tight, it might just fall, or that would happen, and then that's not very magical, right? So you want to make sure they're holding on to it tight. And because they're holding onto the bill through the top, when you pull the pen, it's just going to slide through the bottom. That's why we're not doing it through the middle, because if we do it through here, we can't really slide it. We would have to slide down, and that doesn't work. So by having it down here near the bottom, I would say below his neck, if you're using a dollar bill, but really it's about 1 centimeter off of the bottom edge of that bill. When we come here, if you just pull slightly down and then back, as long as you get this downwards curve, you're going... and you have to remember to tell the spectator to hold on to it tight. So hold on to it tight, okay? And now watch, you'll see that pen goes straight through the bill, right? So again, I'm just going down and out. That's pretty much it. So if you can do it with your own hand, you can do it also in the spectator's hands. Thank you so much.
So we just got done going over some of the presentations and the handlings for this, and I want to talk about ways to switch the pen if you need to. And I know you have some cool ideas, and then I just want to give people some options to kind of go over. Another one I showed you, obviously, is just popping in one pocket and pulling out of the other. There's the traditional, if you're wearing a suit coat or something like that, you would have it and you'd put it away, and then you could pull it back out. As you're putting it away, you go, oh, you know what? Let me add a little something to it. That's the nice thing about this being able to, the gimmick one, be able to write, is you can pretend to put it away and go, actually, you know what? I just do a little switch here. But you have a method for like kind of live switching that you showed me.
Yeah, it's kind of like a glorified flip stick, right?
If you don't know what flip stick is, again, why are you watching this? But flip stick was created by a guy named Flip, and it is essentially, you can just show him, it's like flipping it out like that.
This position.
Yeah.
People use it sometimes for like vanishes, things like that. So what I'll do is I'll have the spectator sign their name, do whatever you want with the pen, and at the same time that you bring it, back to you, you're just switching it out.
Right.
But you have to change the
little coordination, yeah.
Yeah, change the orientation,
and not draw all the attention to the pen.
Well, yeah, the switch should never be on. There should never be heat on the switch.
Right.
I mean, there can be if you're like sleeving it or something like that, because that is possible. You can sleeve it as you come over here. I don't have a long shirt, I can't show you, but yeah, there should never be heat on the moment. You should always be on an offbeat.
Right, so you can go ahead, you take the pen back with them, you click it on or off, go ahead and switch like that. Draw attention to the pen,
Right.
to the bill. Oh, that's a wonderful mustache. You can draw, have another smiley on it or
Right.
whatever. You re-click the now gimmicked pen, draw on it, ditch this pen.
Exactly.
To do that.
Yeah, so that's nice, just to kind of, in case you feel like people are kind of burning you, if somebody's being, because there are times when people are just being a little too aggressively like following everything you're doing, and it's good to have a kind of a collection of these moves. I'll show you one that I like quite a bit. It's called the Jinx switch. And let's say you are working in a situation where you don't have a table for people to draw on or something like that. You could have some sort of flat surface, a tray, a wallet, like let's say you had like a Himber wallet or something
Clipboard.
like that. Yeah, anything, right? And so you would have the gimmicked pen under here, and what I could do is I could say, here, just draw on that, whatever, and then you say, here, take it. And now what happens is my hand comes under here and goes to take this away, leaving this pen here. So you can come here, boom, and now you've switched the pen and get rid of it.
It's a really solid, easy switch.
Yeah, and it is a tried, true, and tested switch.
Right.
So those are just some very easy, I think, kind of alternatives to the pocket switch, stuff like that any of you guys could do, I think.
But what really strengthens like the switches is that audible click.
Yes, the fact that the pen still writes and this, I think people won't suspect the switch anymore.
They understand
Right.
that.
Yeah, because they also just handled that.
Right. And it's not a different click sound either. It's the same click sound. So
Yeah.
once they've handled the normal pen, click, do your thing, switch, re-click, do it with the gimmicks pen.
Right,
To
and
them,
there's
it's
no
just-
reason to question it.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. But, at least now you know how to do it.
Right. Do you still need this $10? Because
I mean, I know how hard you are up for it, so it's fine.
All right,
Yeah,
cool.
we're jerks. So we just got done doing pen through bill. Yep, it works. Take a look at the pen there. It still is good, right? And then you can even inspect the pen. Take a look like that. So this is the quick release system that we put into this. If you want to be able to do a non-switch handout at the end, and I'll show you how that works. So the screw-on piece that you started with earlier for our no-switch get into, this is the no-switch get out of, which is why I'm wearing my big bulky day-to-day trench coat, because it's got nice big sleeves. So if you have sleeves or a top-it or something like that, you do this method here. I think you might, I bet you can even do it into a breast pocket if you had it set up right. But what you do is you have the screw tip here in your hand, and you have your gimmick. You get out, you do your pen through bill routine. And now I pull it out, and you click this, and to get ready. Oh, and now I hand this out, and while they're looking at that, I bring this close to my body, and I'm going to push really hard here, and it's going to launch this into my sleeve, right? And I immediately come to my hand to load this, and with one hand you can turn this and then hand it out like that. And the nice thing is, your hands are clean. There's nothing to be found.
The quick release feature also only works well when you do the initial click. Then at this point, as you hold it down, then it'll shoot.
Yeah. It works better when it's retracted, which is what we mentioned earlier. Right. So, yeah, you just come here, and it just goes away. So that enables you to load this back on. So if that's something that's important to you, you're welcome. So obviously the original version of this was called Pen Through Anything. So that means you should be able to do it through things other than money. And we're kind of sitting here trying to figure out other things to do this with. Obviously a t-shirt would be good because there's no hole to find. It just goes right through the fabric, stuff like that. So like a silk or something like that. If you're that kind of magician carrying that stuff around, you can go through it like this and do it through fabric or a t-shirt or something like that. And then pull that off. I would do it closer to the edge of the thing. Obviously, I've never done this before, but yeah, like that goes through there. I think you could probably do it with the paper towel. You were playing with this. This is fun. A sugar packet.
Yeah, so you
This
want to
is
make
like
sure.
impromptu.
I mean, this sugar packet's kind of on the short side, but I've seen longer ones, like the sweet and low ones. Just make sure all the sugar is to the bottom. You go ahead and you clip the bottom piece, push straight through. And because the paper is so much thinner, it just penetrates it. You don't even have to kind of hold it.
Yeah, no, it just goes right through.
Goes right through it, and then boom.
And now you can rip it open and dump the sugar out and get rid of all the evidence.
Yeah.
Which I think this is a fun impromptu sitting at a table with somebody and go, oh, let me show you something.
Yeah.
Like imagine if you gave this pen to the waiter. Like let's say you're at dinner with a client. All right, now this is crazy. You give this pen to a waiter with the bill and bring it over. He brings it over to you on the tray, and you go, oh, let me show you something. And you pick up the pen the waiter just gave you and do pen through sugar packet. It would blow that client away.
Right.
Like that'd be crazy.
You slip the waiter a $10 bill.
Right, $10, and you can do a miracle with seemingly out of nowhere.
Right, there's your cruise ship.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So I think look around for different objects that you can do this with.
Something that's penetratable, that won't leave any drastic, background stuff.
I mean, I think I could probably do it through your hat right there
like
because
a
it's
mesh.
got like a mesh. Yeah. I think you could absolutely do that.
Yeah.
And I think there's more options than just money.
Ooh, if you can line it up with someone's piercing, or
Or
them
just
a
give
new
it to
ear,
them, right?
yeah.
Be like, hey, hold still.
Yeah. Hey, there's many things that you could accomplish.
Why not? Yeah. Think outside the buck.
Yeah, there you go. I like that.
Yeah.
Think outside the box.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being a purchaser of this project. We're super grateful to have brought it out.
Yeah, it's this has been in development for a number of years and stuff, and we've had a lot of discussions about this as a product. And one of the things that we find interesting and we kind of like about it is pen through bill has always been kind of a 1-2 punch, right? It's like it's in, it's out. And obviously there's the law of three, right? And so we feel kind of this gives you that third beat, right? That third moment of astonishment where it's like it goes through. Because stabbing something through something isn't really magic. It's anybody can do that. It's the
healing of the
right. It's the lack of damage afterwards, but it's also this third beat of a convincer where after it goes through the bill, the shirt, the whatever, that you can still do this. So if people have seen this in a magic shop, bought one, or they just think they know how it works because you can't fool everybody. When you do this, I think there's that moment of people going, wait. Like there's that shuts their brain down for a moment, and while they're thinking about it, where they're sitting on, wait, you're out of it,
right?
Like it disarms them a bit, and so it has this nice 1, 2, 3 to it, which I think is really nice.
I think also conceptually too, like it negates the initial method of pen through bill.
Right, exactly.
Like they'll think it's a magnet. Right, which it is in essence. Not in essence.
Not in essence. It actually,
It actually is a magnet.
And they're like, magnets, how do those work?
Right, and then if they know how magnets work, they can't really explain the click portion of it.
Right, exactly. Yeah, no, and I think I think it's a nice addition, which is why we wanted to put it out. It was something unique for the product itself.
Yeah, we're standing on the shoulder of giants, and we've definitely wanted to enhance an already popular product, popular trick.
Yeah, and I would definitely say when you get this, familiarize yourself with the product, get a feel for it, click it a few times in your hand, and be like, okay, this is what it feels like. This is how much pressure I need, because you can get a little overzealous and accidentally activate the ejection feature a little too aggressively. So just be mindful of practice with different kinds of materials.
Yeah.
Different T-shirts, different bills. We know we can do this through polymer bills.
Yep.
It is possible to do it with foreign money, plastic money, stuff like that, and we'll show you a little bit of that here. What you can do with that. Insert shot.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what people are going to do with it.
Right.
That's really what it's about. Is like whenever you release something like this, people will take it and come up with their own presentations, methods, things like that. And that's, I think, the most exciting thing about putting a product out is seeing what the community is going to come up with.
They did a really nice job with all the inner workings of the gimmick itself. It's a high-end toy.
Right. Well, it's a spy gadget.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. That's why. I mean, I joked earlier about putting some poison tip on this and then going and hitting somebody, but it really is. It's a spy gadget.
Yeah.
Right.
It feels very.
I mean, I feel like I could just walk up to somebody and just go like.
And he's out, ladies and gentlemen.
And thank you for buying it.
Yes.
Hopefully you bought it.
Yeah, not just knocked it off. Chinese website, knockoffs.com.
Is that a website?
No.
Oh, okay.
But it's going to be right now.
Right, yeah, it's like, I like how we have no way of getting out of these segments. We just start being stupid.
The end.